Jimmy Kimmel tonight he's supposed to get his show back. Over the last week since this whole thing happened with Charlie Kirk, Jimmy Kimmel was lost his show because of this comment right here.
New lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
Condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up for the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish.
So he made that statement, and one of the main criticisms from that was the fact that this was like right after this just happened, and the information had already been out there that this guy was not a MAGA supporter. He was clearly radicalized by the left wing, which is what his family had said, and Jimmy Kimmel purposely came out there and lied and tried to blame it on the right wing because they need that narrative to be the reason why.
But you're supposed to be a comedy show.
Yeah. Which
you're not funny. That wasn't a joke. Where was the joke?
The joke that the fourth stage of grief, which is construction, you can say that that's a joke, making fun of the fact that Trump is instead of saying how he feels, he's talking about the construction. But people know that he didn't really hear what was happening, so he just kind of was talking. But anyway, the problem is that, like Jake was just saying, when you start going down this road of like, we feel like you shouldn't be able to say certain things, and if you do say the things that we don't like, then you shouldn't be able to speak, or we shouldn't have to hear it, or you should be canceled. Then you open up that door for it to happen to you.
Yeah.
And we've been hearing this for over the last 8 years. Yeah. That people should be fired. People should their shows should be taken away from them. People have been canceled, and now that Jimmy Kimmel lost his job, there was all this outrage, and they tried to turn it into this is free speech.
Right?
This is an attack on free speech. Trump is trying to silence all of his critics, and just like they said about Colbert. But we find out that what actually happened was Disney, ABC. Well, not only that, they had a meeting with him and said that, listen, we want to bring the temperature down a little bit. Like, this just happened. We don't want to...
Oh, you're talking about Kimmel.
Yeah, they had a meeting with Kimmel,
right.
And they talked to him about bringing the temperature down, and they actually asked him to apologize, and he refused. He refused to apologize, and he said he was going to go back out there and make more statements. He wasn't going to tamp down what he was talking about. So then they made the decision to just pull the show. You remember they did that to Joe Scarborough the day after the Trump assassination. Remember, because they were worried about what he was going to say, so they shut their show down for a couple of days. Like, I think shows are trying to take that tactic because they can't control these people. They're not trying to censor them, but they're just like, all right, well, you're not having a show until further notice. Right. You know what I mean? Because Jimmy Kimmel, and of course, I'm sure it had something to do with the ratings. I mean, we can show the ratings graph. I have it somewhere.
Yeah, late night talk shows have been, terrible with ratings.
Especially him.
Yeah. With free speech though, right?
Yeah.
We have free speech, but that doesn't like you're an employee of whoever your employer is, right? Say I'm gonna give an example because my wife is in this field, education, right? You say something publicly that don't align with the school or the district. They have a right. You can say whatever you want to say, but the consequences of you being fired, they can do whatever they want. Your employer, if they feel like they don't agree with that and that don't align with what their values are, and it makes them look a certain way, they're gonna drop you.
They can and every company does it.
They have a right to drop you.
Not only
legally.
The problem, the other problem with, like, not only does that not actually attack freedom of speech, because Kimmel, let's be real, he could go on any show. He could have went to MSNBC. He could start a YouTube channel, and no one is suppressing his speech. But when it was happening on the other foot, they cheered, they celebrated, they laughed about it. This is the chart
all
showing
of them. Tucker.
Yeah, this is the chart showing the ratings right here. Like, look how his ratings have been going down. And my theory is, I feel like, just like Colbert, ABC probably doesn't really want to renew his contract because late night show is a dying outlet. It's dying.
Yeah.
Right. His show is
Clearly,
dying.
look, that chart.
The show is dying. The whole outlet is dying. Right. And I feel like they saw this as an opportunity because if they can terminate him on the basis of like some kind of moral clause, they have these things in their contracts. They probably were trying to take that opportunity to see if they could get out of their contract, you know what I mean, on a moral clause.
But they gave him an opportunity though. Met with him. All right, look.
Yeah.
If you apologize,
and he doubled down.
Yeah.
And the other part of it was that these affiliate stations, two of their biggest affiliate companies that control the local stations, they were the ones that said we're not going to air the show because of they were getting audience backlash from people in their local areas that were outraged at what he said. So the local affiliates were like, we're not going to air the Kimmel show. We're going to play a Charlie Kirk tribute instead of playing Kimmel. Yeah. And that was another reason why they decided to make that move, because they're already struggling for advertisers and they're not making no money. So it's a way bigger, but people tried to make it about the head of the FCC going on Benny Johnson's thing and just saying that like people need to be held accountable, and they're going to look into people, these corporations that aren't adhering to the guidelines, that are just, because look at all those late night shows. They have never had a conservative on there. They don't interview them. They won't talk to them. So there has to be some kind of violation there, but they feel like they have the freedom to do whatever they want. So, that's
I think let these people talk and just dig themselves into a deeper and deeper hole, because that's the only way they're going to be humble.
Yeah, but the problem is you have a lot of business attached to it. So these local affiliates like Sinclair and Nexstar, they make money off of selling advertisements. If they can't sell ads off of your show because you have pissed off the fan base to where points where people aren't tuning in, now they don't want to air your show anymore. So now that's going to go back to ABC. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not. I agree with you. I'm talking about the ones who are like kind of saying like, oh, he should just be off the air. He shouldn't be allowed to say that.
Yeah.
That's kind of who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Like,
that you can't. I don't agree with that. You should not be calling for anyone to be taken off the air because they said something you didn't like. Because then you are advocating for people not to be able to say what they want. And that is not what the Constitution is about. We should not be trying to silence people.
There should be. It's different because the news should be held accountable.
Yeah.
Right. And of course, like, we have that law that went into play. They took off. Obama destroyed. I forget the name of the law, but basically holding
the Muntz Act.
Yeah. Where it basically held.
Indoctrination is legal.
Propaganda.
Yeah. Propaganda. Yeah. But now, hopefully, we can do something about that. I would say that the news should have to report what is true.
And I think they're talking about reinstating that. They've been kicking that around lately, reinstating that, because that was actually set up because they knew that the CIA was going into other countries and infiltrating their media spaces and propagandizing these other countries so that we could get leverage in these other countries. So when they knew that they were going to be doing that, they came up with the Smith-Muntz Act or something like that, so that to make it illegal for them to do that here to us. But then quietly Obama repealed that and removed that. So now they're legally allowed to lie to us and propagandize their own people. Yeah.
And so I think that should be dealt with. But in the sense of like somebody like a Jimmy Kimmel, they're jokes and he should be allowed to say whatever he wants to say. Obviously, it's gonna be blowback with ratings. Because people shouldn't, again, like, this is why we got social media and we can talk about it. We can critique it because you're lying, dude. You're straight up lying.
Yeah.
We got to talk about these things. We got to expose, like, what are you even talking about? We got to expose these things so that he can be held accountable in that way.
The problem is the FCC chair goes on that podcast and gives them the ammunition because he mentioned Jimmy Kimmel and made it seem like that they were going to put pressure on ABC to target him. And when Trump and the FCC chair had nothing to do with this, but that gave them the talking point, that everyone needed to say that Trump is trying to silence people. And let me just play a little bit of stuff before we move on from this.
Kimmel was expressing what we've heard some other liberals say in recent days, that the motives are unclear and that maybe the suspect in this case was a Republican or was some sort of far-right fringe figure. Of course, there has been a lot of discussion about that in recent days. There's a lot of evidence pointing in other directions about the suspect. But Kimmel was on the air talking about this, making a very serious commentary amid his jokes in his monologue Monday night. Here's where it became interesting earlier today. The FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, went on a far-right webcast and condemned Kimmel and urged ABC to suspend him. He also talked about possible regulatory punishment.
He condemned him, but he didn't urge ABC to suspend him.
Of Disney, because there are lots of different stations that have licenses with the FCC. Within the past hour, we've heard from a big owner of stations that have affiliations with ABC, a company called Nexstar, saying that they were going to suspend Kimmel's show on their station. So in other words, about 24 stations were refusing to air Kimmel's show tonight as a result of this controversy. And then following word that some of those stations were basically revolting against Kimmel and Disney, the parent company.
And Sinclair was another one, a huge one that came out afterwards saying that they were going to do the same thing. Now that's the free market speaking, because their audience said, we're not going to watch this. So then they say, well, then we can't air this,
And money talk, right?
Right, exactly. And that's what you're talking about, Jake. You let the free market speak. But I just want to get through a bunch of this stuff because I want to show you like the mindset. This is flagrant. And Akash has been like, ever since they had Trump on their podcast, he's like been on this mission to prove to everybody that he doesn't like Trump. Like he got a bunch of backlash from his community apparently. So like he's gonna make some statements here that just sound ridiculous. Let me speed this up a little bit.
A big attack on free speech. And yeah, I think we've been pretty staunchly in favor of free speech. And it is funny to watch right-wing people just become left-wing people. Because I said something about how you're a snowflake if you think you should be. If you agree with this, that's some snowflake shit. And somebody was like, you clearly don't even know what the First Amendment means. And that's exactly what left-wing people used to tell me. Freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom from consequences. Right. So y'all just switched. Yeah. Now, again, this has nothing to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk. That's a fucking horrendous thing. Let's get that out of the way. But in terms of censorship, freedom of speech is more under attack now, honestly, than I think it has ever been. I don't...
Yeah, look, Mark even said, more than it's ever been, bro. Yeah. Like, we just found out today, again, that Google was censoring only right-wing conservatives. Yep. We found out from the Twitter files that the government was involved with only banning right-wing accounts.
Is that because of money? Is that
no? It has nothing to do with it. Because that's called silencing the opposition.
Right.
That's silencing the opposition. What about Roseanne being fired? Yep. What about Tucker being fired? But yeah, he's saying that it's more under attack now.
Megyn Kelly got fired.
Megyn Kelly got
talking about Halloween costume.
Megyn Kelly got fired for talking about blackface. Jimmy Kimmel's getting his job back, and this is him.
They're defending. It's like the upside down world to me, bro. You're talking about a guy who did the Man Show.
Yes.
That was like when we were kids. I remember how like raunchy. My dad was like, "What the hell?
What are you watching?
What is this?" He's like wearing blackface. There was girls jumping on trampolines with nothing on.
Right.
He would do skits.
He would do sexual acts to girls that were unassumed, that weren't paying attention.
And he would go up to random women. Do you want to have sex with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is who they're defending. He would go into public and ask women, just to get their, reaction. Do you want to have sex with me?
Yeah.
That's the guy who they're defending.
Yeah. And meanwhile, like that's an attack on freedom of speech. Let me show you this article. Like I was saying, today we found out when they testified in front of Congress, Google admits censorship under Biden, promises to end bans on YouTube accounts and thousands of Americans censored for political speech. Today, thanks to the oversight chair, Jim Jordan, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off of YouTube due to political speech violations on topics such as COVID-19 and the elections an opportunity to return to the platform. Now, remember, the Biden administration and a bunch of people on the left were in control of all these social media platforms. And even before the Biden administration,
FBI.
Yeah, the FBI had a backdoor into these platforms when they were trying to do this coup against Trump.
Yep.
And remember the Hunter Biden laptop, all of that. Yeah, so Google admitted to the following to the House Judiciary Committee. 1, the Biden administration pressured Google to censor Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube's policies. 2, the Biden administration's censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong. 3, public debate should never come at the expense of relying authorities. What? 4, the company will never use third-party fact checkers. 5, Europe's censorship laws target American companies and threaten American speech, including the removal of lawful content. All of these admissions came today during an oversight committee. And then this is Stephen A. again, his reaction to
the
this.
only thing that I would say as it pertains to Jimmy Kimmel was, where was the joke? Because you're a late night host. And obviously that has a comedic attachment to it. Where was the joke?
That's what you said.
Yeah, obviously it wasn't.
I didn't think it was funny
about that.
Yeah, and that was the problem.
You're supposed to be.
A lot of people didn't think it was funny.
who's the famous late night show guy, old guy? They had asked
Johnny
him,
Carson.
Was it Johnny Carson? It might have been John. I think it was Johnny. I think it was Johnny Carson. But they had asked him like,
oh yeah, why doesn't he do political stuff?
Political things? Because we're supposed to be entertained.
This is supposed to be lighthearted, and it's not supposed to be heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, late show have been nothing but.
Yeah,
since Trump.
I think ever since Trump, these late night shows have lost their mind. Like it's just been nonstop, just TDS.
The derangement is crazy, dude.
Dave Smith had a great tweet on X about this. He said, "Call me crazy, but I thought the major violation of free speech last week was when the free speech guy got shot in the neck for promoting free speech. Evidently, it was the vaccine salesman with terrible ratings getting fired." Yeah, like that. They were going crazy about free speech over Jimmy Kimmel, but didn't care nothing
the guy
about
who had a microphone.
Yeah.
That represents anybody can come here and talk and let's hash it out. He was the free speech guy. Yeah. And they didn't cry about that at all.
But the guy who lost his cushy job on ABC doing late night, that's an infringement of that's authoritarian. That's dictatorship.
Yeah.
Let's get a little. Go ahead.
I meant to say this before, but I don't like to judge people, but the dude I just talked about it, the Man Show. Yeah. And he like criticized Trump for his moral compass.
Moral compass all the time.
All the time, but the stuff that you put out, in entertainment, have been like some of the raunchiest stuff.
Yeah, he's a hypocrite. 100%.
Total 100% hypocrite. Yeah.
Especially even when it comes to him complaining about this. Let's show some of the hypocrisy at work here.
Trump has been suspended from Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and even Snapchat. But don't worry, Mr. President, there are still plenty of apps you do have access to. You still have Spotify to drown out the sound of millions of people cheering as you leave. You still have Pet Finder since you're on the outs with Mike Pence. You have Cameo, which will soon be your primary source of income. You can still play Among Us, a game where everyone accuses each other of being against them. You'd love it. You can play Pokemon Go. You and Donnie Jr. can hunt Pikachus together. And when no one else wants you, don't forget, there's always your old friend, the Domino's Pizza Tracker. Not only did Trump get banned from Twitter, Google, Apple, and Amazon removed the Parler app from their platforms. Parler is where all the right-wingers gather to post QAnon nonsense and misspell the word parlor. And no one was more upset about Parler going away than a sneaky little congressman named Devin.
But it's more than just the financial aspect of that. Republicans have no way to communicate. I have 3 million followers on Parler. Tonight, I will no longer be able to communicate with those people.
I mean, other than being on Fox News right now. Why does Devin Nunes always look like somebody knocked his ice cream out of his hand? Trumpers are complaining bitterly that they're being silenced. In fact, they won't shut up about being silenced. On their 3 propaganda TV networks, on 1,000 conservative radio shows, all over the internet, they are screaming about being silenced. They won't.
So, again, hypocrisy at its best. You're talking about Trump being removed from all of the social media platforms at once, where he had to create his own. And then the one platform that the conservatives had made where they could communicate, where they had amassed all these followings, they totally removed that from the App Store. Yep. And he joked about this like it was funny. And he actually praised it.
He has no moral compass. It's only there when something happens to him.
Exactly. Right? That's the hypocrisy of it.
And you see the childishness of it, because like all of that right there that I watched is literally like a ha-ha. Yeah. Look at you.
Yeah. What you gonna do now? Like, look, if you can see this right here, this is him tweeting "Goodbye, Mother Tucker" when Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox. Yeah. His smug attitude.
He's literally like the guy who, I'll talk about the Eagles versus Dallas. He's the Dallas fan, especially around us. Yeah. The South Jersey Dallas fan that is surrounded by Eagles fans and always wants to talk
just crap. Wants to troll everybody. But then when you mess with or how about the Redskins fan that loves talking trash, but then when you take a picture of them looking salty because the Redskins lost, they get sad and want you to take the picture down. This is a picture of him when Roseanne got fired, and listen to what he said. And ABC, to their credit, didn't waste any time. They canceled her show today. I'm not a fan of censorship, but this wasn't about free speech. He said it was about consequences for saying something vile. You can say what you want, but networks don't have to pay you to say it. You can't just blame Ambien for the actions. You can't for that. Actions have consequences, and ABC made the right call. This was his reaction to Roseanne.
You need to listen to yourself.
Like, okay, so all of a sudden, this is censorship and the attack on freedom of speech, but where was that energy?
He doesn't think it's vile what he said. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with what he said.
Yeah.
In his mind,
you're denying. He's straight up denying everything.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if he's like really, really deranged. If he's looking at all the facts of this kid, you know, and his life and his trans roommate.
Yeah, and the furry. And apparently, they were playing furry games and
and
even like the etchings on the bullets. The Discord community they were a part of. There was so much evidence to show where they
the
were.
Antifa, you know, writing on the bullets and stuff. It's like, I don't know. Give them eyes to see. I don't know.
What's interesting is his show is supposed to come back on tonight.
Is it on?
And everyone's wondering what he's gonna say. I don't know. I wouldn't even be able to pull it up. Maybe they'll have some clips of his monologue on X. What time does that show air?
Is it late? I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't see anything yet. I
used to watch. I wasn't really a late night fan. But
I liked Conan.
I watched. I was about to say. I thought Conan was funny.
Yeah.
He was probably the only one that I thought was funny.
I thought this was funny. Elon Musk hit Ben Stiller with one of his own lines because he came out there. First of all, Hollywood came to the rescue apparently there was they wrote this letter and attacked Disney saying that they better bring his show back. Yeah. And there was also someone shot up an ABC affiliate in California. That played a factor in why they brought his show back too, letting these people believe that terrorism is going to get them their way again. But all the violence is on the right.
Yeah.
So he said, this isn't right. Breaking. Disney's ABC pulling Jimmy Kimmel's. Blah, blah, blah. So Elon responds to that and goes, he went full retard. Never go full retard. Yeah. Harry says
Elon Musk is a troll.
By the way, did you see Elon with Trump?
Yeah, that was a huge. And he said, and he tweeted. Elon tweeted that and said for Charlie, Charlie brought them back together. Mm-hmm. So I think the word empathy that made up the new age term did a lot of damage to Charlie Kirk's carotid artery. This is the guy that shot up this guy right here. This is the guy that shot up the ABC building. Let me see. So earlier today, this was 9/20/25. Anibal Hernandez Santana, 64, ex-legislative director for California Fed of Teachers, arrested in Sacramento for shooting into an ABC affiliate building window. He shot up an ABC affiliate building, shot into the window because of Jimmy Kimmel. Went to his local ABC 10 building.
Mental illness.
But this is the left.
Mm-hmm.
But this also played a factor of why they brought the show back. Here goes a very cringy CNN segment of this woman comparing the Hollywood entertainers to the Avengers.
I think what we're seeing here, it almost feels like the Avengers. It feels like Hollywood came together with the left and Jimmy Kimmel's audience, and they really kind of formed in what felt unstoppable. I was talking to a friend as soon as the news broke who said, we had to have known this was going to happen with everybody saying that they were going to cancel, and also with these major celebrities like Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks and Jennifer Aniston coming out to complain. So it feels like we've gotten this whole thing in front of what people like to refer to as the normies, the people who are not chronically online, who are now having the conversation about where this country is headed. And because of Jimmy Kimmel and because of him being pulled off air. So who would have ever thought that late night TV would be as powerful as it is in terms of having conversations about democracy, Pam? But that's exactly where we are right now.
Yeah, the Avengers got Jimmy Kimmel back on air. The View.
And to all my friends in Italy who reached out, you have to know it's okay. We're still here. We're still broadcasting. And when the news broke last week about Jimmy Kimmel's suspension, we took a breath to see if Jimmy was going to say anything about it first. We did the same thing with Stephen Colbert. Then our show was on tape on Friday. But we are live here today, and we're getting into it now.
I love how these people act like they are just fighting for freedom in this country. Like, you did nothing.
Yeah.
You guys live your cushy lives. You didn't want to speak on this because you didn't know where it was going to go.
Yep.
Like, just tell the truth.
You were scared to be on the wrong side, right?
You didn't know what was going to happen, so you didn't want to speak on it. But it's all good. It's all good, whoopee.
Yeah, I think they look and they judge. If we get enough people talking, then we're good.
Yeah.
But this is why we have to continue to expose this type of stuff and show, these people are disingenuous, they're fake.
They're gaslighters, they're hypocrites. Yeah.
Yeah.
One more hypocritical video before we get out of here, because this is Kimmel again, making fun and having a joke about Tucker Carlson.
Fox News
has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means.
And they cheer.
Tucker couldn't be reached for comment. He's already on a plane to Moscow to meet with his manager. But what a shock. I mean, what an absolutely delightful shock this is. Now Tucker can spend more time at home tanning his testicles and touching himself to that sexy green M&M. Sadly, he's probably not done poisoning old people's brains. The question now is, where will he do it next? Will he go to OAN? Will he go to Newsmax? Will he crawl back up Satan's fiery beehole from whence he came? We don't know. One of the most despicable mother Tuckers ever to appear on American television.
So, again, it's all fun and games when it happens to other people. It's just jokes. He can go anywhere, and he can go on another network. Yeah. You could have did the same thing, buddy.
Yep.
So how is it all of a sudden
Tucker blew up Twitter?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he did. But it's just, how is it all of a sudden a authoritarian attack on free speech and the First Amendment when you lose your job for something that you said? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the part of it that is just like, wow.
And what's sad is that he probably don't even see it.
Yeah, I know. That's why
he don't see it.
I'm interested to see what his monologue is tonight, because apparently he was going to address it in his monologue, and I'm sure he's going to say some snarky stuff about how Trump didn't win and blah, blah, blah. But I honestly think that ABC wants out of that contract. Colbert is losing them $40 million. How much money do you think he's losing, ABC and Disney, every year?
So, his ratings is like just dropping.
Yeah.
It's like it's
exponentially.
Step.
Yeah.
The ground.
So they might play out the rest of his contract just to save face now. You know, because maybe he threatened to sue them. Maybe their lawyers talked it out and realized that, you know, they really couldn't fire him on moral grounds. So, you know, they couldn't get out of the contract. So now they have to bring him back on the air, because those local affiliates said that Sinclair and Nexstar said they're still not airing him tonight.
Yeah.
So they're not back on board. They'd rather play. They said they're going to play local news because Jimmy Kimmel don't bring no ratings.
Yep.
So clearly they need to finish out the rest of their contract. I'm pretty sure
and
ABC
probably hurt them more if they do play it, because you know, wherever, I don't know where their base is or whatever.
They're all over. They're one of those affiliates that own like multiple stations in different regions. But yeah, a lot of their areas are red areas.
Yeah.
They don't want to hear,
if it doesn't make sense to them business wise, then you know, they don't have to.
Yeah. And I think the Charlie Kirk thing really, really changed the atmosphere of like people just being okay with you just lying now. Like, you could lie to people about Trump and they can probably accept it. But when they saw what happened to Charlie Kirk and then you went and said that, a lot of people wasn't having that. And I think like he said, you have the freedom to say what you want, but you don't have the freedom from consequences. Ain't that what he said? Yeah.